Welcome back to ThorMotorWerks 2, and on today's video what we are doing is fitting a coil pack relocation plate because we have a top mount intercooler and our HT leads are touching the back of that intercooler. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because then you'll get all of the how-to guides that I upload on this channel for the R50, R52 and R53. And if you're joining us on this channel already and you weren't aware, you can go and see us on the main channel as well. I'll leave a link in the description below and you can catch up with the project cars that we've got coming up. So let me show you the coil pack relocation plate, tell you where it's from, show you what you get in the pack, and then we'll get the bonnet over and show you how to fit it. Right, the coil pack relocation plate that I have bought, you can get a few different varieties of this, but my one is from 611 Motorsport. You can see it is metal, billet made, has their logo just down the bottom there. I bought this myself with my own money. This is not a sponsored video. It comes with the coil pack relocation plate and then 4 H5 bolts for the rocker cover. Now, if you don't know what 611 do, they do quite a few different products for the R53 platform, or R50, R53, R52 platform. Basically K20 engine mounts, crash bar replacements, diverters, bucket seat mounts, all these sort of things are available. I'll leave a link in the description below for their Facebook page. You can go and check out what they do, and hopefully you will find a few different bits that might be useful for your own builds. So on that note, let's get back to the engine. I'll show you what the existing problem is and why we need to fit one of these, and then we'll get to fitting it. So as you can see, this is the W11 Supercharged engine. There is a strut brace that goes across here. I've removed it for the purpose of this video, but just to show you what's happening at the moment, is this is the AirTech intercooler, and you can see that these HT leads are sort of sitting really close to the back of it. In fact, if I go above it, you can see they are actually touching. So the relocation plate will shift this back a little bit. Now there is another issue that you need to just consider with these relocation plates, especially if you've got a metal coolant tank like I have. Your coil pack wiring sits down the back here, and what you don't want it to do is sit up against this tank, because this tank gets really hot. And I've had it before where people have had running issues with the car, and what's happened is it's melted this wire where it's sitting up against the tank. So we will fit the relocation plate, but what we're going to do is just make sure that this is not touching here, because if it is, we may have to think of another plan. So let's get this coil pack off, and to do that we need a 10mm ratchet. 1/4 inch one will be absolutely fine. Just to undo these 4, we'll take this coil pack wiring off for a minute as well. Just fold it over out of the way, and then we can get a good look at what's underneath. Okay, so providing these are factory tight, which is 12 Newton meters, they should not be too much of a problem to come out. So these are the titanium bolts from Motorsport, which you can have a look at here. Again, I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to pick some of these up. It's important that you keep these rubber donuts here, because they will help put the pressure onto the coil pack and stop it from moving around, but it also gives it a little bit of vibration, anti-vibration property as well. So let's get these ones off. There will also be some that sit underneath as well. There's 8 in total of those little donut things. Need to be careful that they don't fall down the back and we end up losing them. So we haven't undone our coil pack wiring just yet off the back, because we want to see if we can fold it out of the way without having to unclip it. But if we do, it's fairly simple, just need a very small screwdriver. Right. I think I'll be okay for a minute. Okay, let's pop them on there. Let me just show you what's going on down the back here. So you can see coil pack wiring still in place, but just under there that you've got little brass threads that go into the rocker cover, and what we don't want to do is damage those. So just give me a sec to go and grab the coil pack relocation plate, a little bit of grease, and we're just going to quickly tidy up under there and then I'll cut back in. Okay, so we have our relocation plate and our bolts over there. We're going to quickly remove this coil pack just temporarily. Now on my HT leads, the numbers of the plugs that they go to is listed on there, so let me quickly show you what I mean by that. So as you can see on here, for example, this one says cylinder number 3, this is 4, and then down here you can see cylinder 1, so you know which one is going to cylinder 2. If yours are not labelled up, make sure you label up which ones are which before you remove the coil pack, then you won't run into any issues when you come to putting them back in again. So I'm going to quickly just set you up on here, zoom in a little bit, focus on that. We'll get this coil pack out of the way. So let's get these leads off down here. The only reason I'm doing this is because it helps me show you guys a little bit easier what is required. Also, this coil pack plug up here, there is a little red tab in it. You just need to push it up like that, and then that will release the plug. If you don't do that, you'll end up damaging the plug trying to pull it off. So with that out of the way, we can now see that we have the space down the back. So let me quickly show you. Now you can see down here, this is where our coil pack relocation plate needs to sit. That will sit on top of the rocker cover like so, and then the coil pack will sit on top of there. So let me quickly get that bolted in, and then I'll show you the next step. And what we still need to be careful of is that our coil pack plug is not touching this tank at the end. We need a bit of space there. So let me quickly set you up on the tripod, we'll get that bolted in, and then I'll cut back in a minute. So what we need for this is our 4, these are pan head bolts, and they sit inside the coil pack. So let me just quickly show you that as well before I fit it so you can see. So again, on here you've got these outers, they'll sit in there and then they'll sit flush, and you have to put all 4 of them in, and then they will screw into the rocker cover. So let me quickly set you up on there. Get these into place. Now these should, providing all your threads are nice and clean, just start by hand. The rubber donuts that we took off, the grey ones or the black ones, depending on what type you've got on your car, they do not sit under these bolts. They will sit between the coil pack and this relocation plate. So we will just screw these in gently. What I will do is quickly time lapse this part, and then I'll cut back in when that's done. Okay, and here you can see it is all in place. So these are now flat. They don't need to be super tight, just tighten them so it nips and then stop. And now what we're going to do is get the coil pack, which I've left on the wall down here. Now it's also a good time to check the coil pack, because it is very common on these that number 3 will be corroded. If it is, just get a little bit of sandpaper, just wipe the corrosion off, because that can affect the running. This one's actually in pretty good condition. And that will then sit like that on top. And like I said before, we're going to connect this coil pack wiring up, position this into place, and just make sure that it is not touching down the back down here. So let's get on with that, and we'll see how close it is to that tank, because if it's too close, we're either going to have to put some heat shielding along here, which I might do anyway, or we'll have to remove the coil pack relocation plate. So talking about coil packs, here's one that we've got from the stock that we've got. So you can see 1, 2 and 4 are in pretty good condition, but 3 has a bit of corrosion on it. So sometimes that will be all it takes for your engine to start running poorly. So if you're getting running issues, you put a code reader on, it says cylinder 3, take off the HT lead, have a quick look. If it's just a bit of corrosion on there, a bit of sandpaper or wire brush, clean it up a little bit, put the HT lead back on, restart the engine, hopefully that will cure your problem. So little quick hint there, but that is really common on the R50 and R52, 53 engines, so just bear that in mind. Right, let's have a look at the gap together and see what we think. So again, this is only loosely in place. I put the HT leads back in just so we can see how much of a gap there is down here with the relocation kit compared to where we were starting off at. Now obviously the whole lot has shifted backwards, which you can see, but if you look down the back there is a gap now. It's not a big gap, but the gap is there, and you can see by having that additional support in place down here, it sort of tucked the wiring out of the way a bit. So I'm pretty certain we'll be okay with that. What I might do is pick up some heat-proof tape, like some gold tape or something, and just run it along here as well, just to give it a little bit of extra protection, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. So yeah, let's get it all tightened up then. We'll get the torque wrench out and then we'll cut back in. Our torque wrench is set to 12 Newton meters. Probably a bit overkill for this, but we'll do it anyway. There we go. So I just thought I'd show you what I meant by these little rubber bits and not to get rid of them. So you can see the bolt goes all the way through the coil pack and comes into the relocation pack down below. Now if you imagine this is going into the rocker cover, now these bolts, they look like this. They have like a sleeve on them. Without those rubber O-rings in there, all those rubber donuts, that will just move around, so the whole coil pack will just shift. So you make sure you put one on there. If you look down the bottom here as well, you can see the second one is there, and then that goes into the relocation plate. So hopefully that clears up that part for you as well. And as you can see, again, just down here, there is a gap between the tank and the wiring, thanks to that extra bolt we put down here to replace the pan head one. Now obviously you should have one of these in there from standard anyway, but if you don't and you've bought like a rocker cover bolt kit because your ones were knackered and you put the wrong bolt in here like I had, or you just didn't get one with it, you'll probably need to get yourself one of these little threaded bars, get it in there, and then that should help with this if you've got a metal tank. If you've got a plastic tank, obviously it's still not going to be great if it's touching, but I don't know how much room there would be between there and a plastic tank, so just make sure you double check. And that wraps up today's video on fitting a coil pack relocation plate. Hopefully that's helped some of you guys out there. If so, don't forget to hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to go and check out the main channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what other videos you guys need, and I'll get on to those as soon as I can. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you all again soon.